Doctor Who Reveries. Voicemail by Joel Cornah. Read by Dominic G. Martin. Me again, the Doctor projected as much brightness into her voice as she could muster. Message number 506, I think. Lost count a while back, but I think I got it back. Anyway, as soon as you get this, Yaz, call me back. In a spot of bother. I can use your relay from the phone signal to subroute the coordinate settings on that TARDIS. Also, you know, it would be really nice to see a friendly face. Oh, and can you ask Ryan to empty his mailbox? Have you all lost your phones? Does Graham have a phone? The Doctor was pacing, the tiny cell affording little in the way of scenery, but she was using her imagination, and she had a bloody good imagination, thank you very much. Yaz had been the first person she'd called. No answer. She tried Ryan, Unit, Tortured, all the obvious people. Nobody was picking up. Not even Sarah Jane. So yeah, call me, the Doctor continued. Yaz, I hope you're safe. I know we parted on uncertain terms, but we can make up for it. I've got this brilliant idea. We can go to...
This mailbox is full.
The message, robotic, empty of feeling. She'd heard it in all the variety the phone companies of her friends offered.
Please try again later.
She pulled the phone away and let the robot hang up. Well, if this wasn't a kick in the ear, teeth, kick in the teeth. She needed to remember phrases like that. Might be useful one day if she ever encountered the Universal Idioms contest again. She'd lost spectacularly last time, but it was half a dozen regenerations back, so she must have improved. But the competition also had time to improve. The Sly Devils. Sly Devils. Her contacts list was stuffed to the brim of friends and acquaintances, and then there were a few old enemies just in case. Best friends and best enemies. Some who fit both bills. Well, one who fit both bills. It wasn't exactly a phone number, more a series of old Gallifreyan mantras they'd say as a part of a psychic link across time and space. Rarely worked, and you never knew what part of the time stream you'd find them. Still, as she'd just left him 3 days ago, she expected that logging onto him wouldn't be too difficult. It wasn't as if she had much else going on. The phone's battery was winding down, 5% and falling. If she was going to make a call, she'd have to make it count. All those friends and allies she'd failed to reach, and here she was, at the end of her rope. Maybe the Jadoon had done something to the phone lines. That would explain why nobody was picking up. Yeah, that'd explain it. People don't just forget about you, and not all 400 of your contacts, surely. His name burned into her eyes, even when she wasn't looking at the phone. He was going to annoy her, he was going to upset her, but she could annoy him too. That was one of her special talents. She punched the call button and closed her eyes, speaking the mantras, aligning her psychic coordinates. It felt like an age, swirling, pulsing echoes of their past. The Academy, the Medusa Cascade, the Autons, Devil's End, the Panopticon, the days spent basking in the second sun's rays while they skipped out on Barusa's lecture on Omegan polarity reversal. The cut and thrust of a sword fight in an island prison. Leaving each other. Finding each other. Watching the planet of the cheetah people burn. Watching him disintegrate. The fear and the joy at seeing him alive again. Was he still alive? She'd left him standing in front of a bomb, set to destroy all living matter on Gallifrey. Then again, she'd watched him literally burn to death, seen him fall 1,000 feet, watched him get shot, electrocuted, exterminated, and every time, he found a way to come back. He was almost as bad as she was. Then again, these sorts of calls rarely happened in chronological order. She might find him in the past, in his personal past. She'd have to be careful about what she said, just in case. Or she could reach him in the future. In her personal future. Would that be better or worse? Hard to say. She'd just have to roll with it. Hello. His voice came through the speaker, crisp yet frustrated. If you're selling me something, just listen to my voice. This thing you're selling, is it really bringing you what you want? Wouldn't you like power of your own? Listen to my voice. Hear my voice. Listen. I am the master, and you will... It's me. A beat. 2 heartbeats. 4 heartbeats. Is it gloat o'clock already? The master said. Trapping me in the 1940s. Smooth move. Nearly 70 years, and finally you give me a call. Oh, how magnanimous. So, you haven't got your TARDIS right now. She leant against the wall, disappointed. There goes that plan. She might as well hang up and use what was left of her battery to do something useful. No, and I wouldn't let you borrow it anyway. The master was doing something. A sound like running water, clattering crockery and glass, accompanied by the slight grunt between his words. Are you... A smile emerged on her lips. Are you doing the washing up? Some of us have lives, you know. Some of us have been forced to live in the 20th and 21st centuries. No TARDIS, no tech, nothing but my wits and my brilliance. So yes, Doctor, I am doing the washing up. Because this is a primitive planet with primitive ways. Dishwashers exist. Not on my salary, they don't. Salary? You've got a job. It was too delicious. The Doctor was pacing with pent-up excitement and giddiness now. Call centre. Selling insurance to gullible old ladies. Cars to idiotic teenagers. Magic pills to weirdos on the internet. Easy money, just not a lot of it. So, you're on to voice hypnosis now. Took you long enough. Not all of us are natural hypnotists, Doctor. The jab made her stop pacing. There was a sour knife in her side and a bitter memory. I should never have let you talk me into that. Oh, come on, Doctor, you wanted to show off. The great Theta Sigma, master of the hypnotic arts. That's why you taught me. Oh, is that why you started wearing the cape? Shut up. The master laughed, crackling through the phone alongside the dunk and clatter of plates in the sink. The Doctor put her fingers against the bridge of her nose, closing her eyes in frustration and regret. You're one to talk, she murmured. I've seen you in plenty of capes and flashy robes. Yeah, but I wear it so much better. Can we just cut to the chase? She snapped. What do you want from me? What do I want? The master stopped mid-chuckle. You called me! Oh, right. Sorry. I did, didn't I? An awkward silence fell, broken by the continued splash of washwater and the hum of the prison walls. Jadoon were marching somewhere in the complex, the distinctive thrum of their heavy feet echoing dully. The number of times she'd been in prisons of various kinds, not least the number concocted by the master specifically. Come on. Out of it, he said, breaking the pause. To what do I owe the pleasure of your rancid company? I didn't have to call you, she snapped. Hundreds of friends in my contacts, all very good people who don't try to double-cross me. People who I trust with my life. People who actually give a damn about others and who try every day to be better. So forgive me for not being incredibly enthusiastic about calling you for help. Help? The master paused, and then broke out into loud, wild laughter. A laughter he couldn't control. A laughter that went on long after it stopped being funny. Though it was in danger of going on long enough to become funny again. Shut up, the Doctor hissed. Sorry. Sorry. It's just... When was the last time you helped me? The Mondasian colony ship? The master went silent. He even turned the tap off. She could hear the steady drip of the leaky faucet and the steady, furious breathing of her oldest friend, oldest enemy, oldest everything. Come on, she said, trying to soften. Look, there's a reason we were friends back in the old days. There's a reason we keep finding each other, drawn to each other. Frankly, a universe without the master scarcely bears thinking about. More silence. He'd even masked his breathing. She could picture him in her mind, fists clenched, jaw tight, beard twitching. He had so much anger inside him, so much pride, and fury, and delight at his own cleverness. I am not falling for that again, he managed to say through gritted teeth. Falling for what? The doctor pushed off the wall and paced again. I'm just saying that sometimes we help each other. Not because it's good for us, not because it helps us get one over, not because it completes some terrible plan, but because it's kind. The Master put so much venom into the word that it felt like a swear. It made the doctor stop, mid-step. Slowly, she put her foot down and leant against the wall of her cell, eyes closed, letting the cool of the Velusian steel sink into her skin. We could still be friends, the doctor said, quiet, the words almost catching. Deep down, beyond all the times we tried to kill each other, I think you feel it too. You made me feel less alone. You helped me out of the dirt when Drax knocked me over on the first day. I held you when your parents left. You were with me from Prydon to Perivale. The Master turned his tap on again and the sound of angry washing up built. Splashing, crashing, clinking. The doctor took a breath. Why was he doing this? He was never going to come back. She thought she'd been close. She had thought all her time with Missy meant something. I used to think that, he said, bitterly. You know, sometimes, when I thought I'd killed you, I'd think, shame that, really. I'd like to have seen the doctor's face when I sit on my throne. I'd have liked to have seen the doctor's reaction. I'd have liked to have seen the doctor. You know, from my throne. You don't need a throne. Her voice was becoming a whisper as she sank to the floor, the weight of the conversation pushing her down. No? Then what would you suggest? A chaise lounge? A beanbag chair? He put a plate down, roughly. The universe is broken, Doctor. You know it, I know it. It's falling apart at the seams. People and planets spin on and in barely comprehensible patterns, hurtling towards death, destruction, chaos and worse. People suffer. Planets die. The universe doesn't care. That's why we fight. The Doctor was feeling every one of her 2,100 years as this old chestnut came out again. The universe doesn't grant justice. That's why we go out and fight for it. There's no guarantee of kindness or love, and that's why we make the effort. It is the lack of order in the universe that drives us to bring peace to it. Exactly! He sounded suddenly excited. That's what we were brought up with. Time Lords, heirs of Rassilon, presiding over a broken universe. With our superior minds, our abilities beyond all other beings, we could have shaped the universe, but they were too cowardly. We can't be judge, jury, and executioner. Why not? If we Time Lords are the most brilliant and wise people in the universe, then why not I, the wisest of the Time Lords? Why can't I rule? You said it yourself. We strive to change the universe because it won't change itself. All it needs is a good, solid, worshipful ruler, one who can guide it. You must see it, Doctor. No, I don't. But you just said the reason you fight is to make things different. What is that but the desire to impart your own will onto the universe? Doctor, we have that power. We have that potential to fix a broken universe, to make it in my image. That is not the same thing. Of course it is. Why is your idea of justice so much better than mine? I know I can be the ruler the universe needs. I know I can make things better. I know that with me, as master of all matter, the universe will be at its peak. All things as my will demands, and all life as my servants. It is the best for everyone and everything. The Doctor snored, loudly and deliberately, knocking the Master off kilter. He paused in his recitation of his manifesto, and then fell into a soft chuckle. So close, he said. You have always been my greatest stimulation, Doctor. You don't need to rule the universe, she said, exasperated. I thought, or I hoped, you were starting to see that. We do make a good team. Don't you remember that, Missy? The Master turned his taps off again. I am the Master, he said. But you could have joined me. On the colony ship with Cybermen all around us. We could have stood together. Why didn't you? Another long, potent pause. The doctor's phone was now on 1%. She could have ended it. She could have used the last of that power for something else. Something that might actually help her. Instead, she pressed the earpiece closer and listened to her friend's shuddering breaths. I trusted you, he said darkly. I was going to stand with you. And what did I get? Shot in the back, murdered, betrayed, and left for dead. That's what you do, though, Doctor. You take your little companions, your human friends, and you turn them into reflections of yourself. Twisted, small, and imperfect copies. So that you can yell at them when they make a mistake, project all your insecurities onto them, and punish them instead of punishing yourself. You tried to turn me into your puppet. You took me at my most vulnerable, and you tried to twist me into something else. That's not what... No! Listen to me! Listen to my voice, Doctor! You weren't trying to help me. You were trying to alleviate your own guilt. I won't be your little therapy experiment. I won't be your lab rat. You let me get stabbed in the back, and now you twist the knife! No, I was trying to help you. I know you can be good, Master. Don't use my name like that! He was shouting now, and a plate smashed. Trying to manipulate me! Well, after Missy, after everything you put me through, I can say this for certain. The only thing I learned after that whole debacle is that I should never, ever trust you ever again! Master, please. The phone died. She pulled it from her ear, hot and covered in her sweat. In the dark mirror of its glassy surface, she saw her drawn face reflected, eyes puffy, but refusing to let a tear fall. The cell door buzzed. A notice appeared in holographic letters.
Unauthorized communication detected.
You took your time. She wiped her eyes and slid the phone out between the bars. The phone disintegrated in a shimmer of red light, the security system blinking with the robotic equivalence of self-satisfaction. Or perhaps the doctor was projecting feelings onto it. At last, she lay down, eyes boring into the ceiling, head throbbing, heart aching. Her eyes stung, even as she closed them tight. She wanted her friends, but she wanted to be left alone. The bubbles of energy that usually fizzed through her were gone, and her chest was heavy with something that she couldn't put into words. She'd lost Gallifrey before, but that had been her choice. She'd lost friends before. Sometimes it had been through choice, other times not. Irritation built. She should be able to deal with this. Why couldn't she? Losing home, losing the TARDIS, losing the Master. She'd done it all before. But they'd all come back before. Gallifrey, the TARDIS, and even the Master. In that brief conversation, she'd settled back into their old rhythms. Her best enemy. A pain in her backside, but a pain in her backside she could rely on to always find a way back. She put his face in her mind's eye. All his faces. And a mischievous smile came to her face. Until next time, she breathed. Old friend. You have been listening to Doctor Who Reveries, voicemail by Joel Cornah, read by Dominic G. Martin.